Good afternoon. On September 11th, 2001, 5-month-old Dave was on a ferry bound from Long Island. According to my mom, it was a chilly morning, and the breeze of the sea only added to the pneumatic feel in the vessel. Why are we on the ferry, you might be asking? The answer is the obvious one. We were among the thousands of people fleeing the September 11th attack on the World Trade Center. Yes, the scenario is real, straight from the memories of my parents. I, of course, have no recollection of this. I didn't even know how to speak, much less know what was going on and what terrorism is. And though I now know how to speak, obviously, I'm still mostly unsure about the nature of terrorism. I don't know about you, but the idea of becoming persuaded so much by a certain belief system that I would murder those who don't agree with me just isn't fathomable. This is the case for most people, no matter their color, gender, or religion. Unfortunately, in this country, the belief system that specific religions tend to breed violence and acts of terror more than others is extremely prominent. This belief system is applied to the Islamic religion and the Nation of Islam in particular. This is extremely frustrating to myself and many others, even though I can understand why this application occurs. As we all know, the terrorist attack on September 11th, along with many other past attacks such as the Oklahoma City bombing, were orchestrated by the Islamic terrorist group Al-Qaeda. As a result of these being some of the most well-known terrorist attacks in the West, a stigma has been created about Islamic people and about Arabic people in general. This stigma, like most stigmas, revolves around a complex of fear. In this case, the fears of terrorism. Unfortunately, in spite of the recent decline in Al-Qaeda's activities, this stigma has not been remedied. New terrorist groups, such as ISIS, Al-Shabaab, and Boko Haram, have materialized to take Al-Qaeda's place as the dominant terrorist group in the Arabian Peninsula. Now, even more than ever, our country lives in fear, and that fear is even more so prominently reflected within our daily lives. Whether it's a white couple stopping in their tracks when they see an Arabic man, or even an American man with caramel-colored skin getting extra searches in the airport security, our prejudices are becoming so blatant and transparent. The sad thing is, not everyone can see it happening. The latest example of this prejudice has come from our very own President-elect, Donald Trump. In his campaign speeches and during debates, Mr. Trump has proposed that when he is president, he will block all immigration from those countries with ties to terrorist groups, such as Libya, Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia. He claims in a rally speech that, until we can figure out what is going on over there, we can't allow any more of these people to enter our borders. It just isn't safe. Again, Mr. Trump is applying the belief system about a few dozen Islamic people to a much wider population. The people that are trying to immigrate here from Arabic countries are refugees, fleeing a country filled with war, violence, and suffering. Terrorists are now too smart to try to go through the government in order to enter the country. They know they'll never be able to gain access. Instead, they take the easier route and just come over illegally. No matter what we do with our immigration, this will continue to happen. No. We must see to the root of this ludicrous potential policy. Mr. Trump is simply using the stigma of the Islamic population in order to gain political support with those who also see Islamic people as such. However, these people are simply ignorant to the fact that terrorism is mostly perpetrated by those who aren't even within the Nation of Islam. In fact, according to Reuters, only 6% of terrorism is perpetrated by Muslims. The majority is caused by those who are Jewish or Christian and of non-Arabian ethnicity. Yet a lingering fear of Arabian and Islamic people still exists in the West. While this is good to acknowledge, what can we actually do about this way of thinking? It's not like you could just hit delete and erase it. No. These stigmas are based around ignorance. So in this case, if one didn't know the hard facts about terrorism, it would be easy to just follow the mainstream way of adopting these prejudices. Luckily, defeating this ignorance is simple. All we need to do is educate our population. We cannot hold a single group accountable for the actions of a small minority within that group. It is unfair as saying all Americans are prone to shooting up schools just because a few Americans have done so. We need to stop making overgeneralizations and start seeing people for who they are and what they're doing, rather than just a part of their racial group of ethnicity. If we can see each other as individuals and all give each other clean slates, then we can begin to work towards becoming united as a people, all for the common good of the human race. Thank you very much.